Hey everyone, okay, so today we're going to be talking concealer. And concealer as in really good, affordable concealer. And we're going to be testing it out in comparison to a much higher end brand. Now, of course, with concealer, there is, I think of all products, concealer is that one product that has so much hope with it. It's going to erase the darkness. It's going to make us a better person. And of course, they never do. Certainly don't erase the darkness all that well, and maybe not even make us a better person. But we have so much hope with concealer. It's going to control that darkness. It's not going to sink into fine lines and wrinkles. It's not going to crease. It's not going to cake. It's going to look like a second skin. Yeah, it never does. But that doesn't mean that there aren't great concealers out there. And this is a cracking concealer. So now, as most of you probably know who watch me, I don't like liquid foundations. I like cream foundations, I like mineral foundations, but I don't like liquid foundations. So I use concealers as a liquid foundation. I find that they contain less silicone and they just look a bit nicer on the skin. So I'm going to use this as a foundation over half the face, and then as a concealer, and then we'll do it with the higher end brand. So the brand that we're going to be talking about here, and it really is a good brand, it is Revolution, and it is the Conceal and Define Infinite Concealer, a long wear concealer, crease proof, with niacinamide, infinite coverage, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is hope that this is a good shade, and I'm going to dot it all over the face. And I'm going to go for a bit more of a fuller coverage for this tutorial because, you know, why not? And we're going to blend it out with a beauty blender. Now, this concealer has a very dewy finish to it. And some people have been comparing it to Tarte Shape Tape, which I don't think it is, but it gives a really good finish to the skin. It applies beautifully. It gives you a really good amount of coverage. This to me is a medium coverage concealer, but you can use it to a full coverage if you really want to. Why would you? But you absolutely can. I'm looking very pale today. That's what happens when you live in sunscreen. Okay, so this is what I would call a good medium coverage. And you can see it applies beautifully. And it's like 4 or 5 quid or something like that. It's incredible. I'll put the links in the description. Now, we could use a lighter concealer under the eye. Let's see, I use C7, so let's try C6. And we'll apply this. Shall I do the ear? Shall I just do the red ear as best I can? Now, we'll apply this like we would Instagram. So we'll really apply a ridiculous amount of product. See, the problem with concealer, right, is that when you go out, it's the same thing with anything to do with blending, right? When you go out here, well, where can you go from there? Like if you just apply it here, just this section, well, then you can move it. But now we're going to have to move it to here. But there you go. Okay, so I'll just do a little bit here as well, just for general lightening purposes. And we'll apply and blend. Blech, way too much. But some of you like full coverage, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, each to their own. And it does blend incredibly well. It really does. And there's nothing on my skin, no primer, nothing, just sunscreen. So we're going to powder this and put colour. But first of all, we're going to move over to the other concealer. So here's something really interesting about concealers. When you go right the way up to the lower lash line, it can make the eye look smaller. And also, when you go up to the lower lash line, particularly if you're very fair-skinned, it can make you look like your waterline is really red. And I found that a lot. So we're going to try the NARS concealer. Now this is one of my favorite concealers. And I'm just going to dot this all over my face, just like I did before. And we'll use this as a foundation. And then of course, we will use this as a concealer. So First of all, it may not be the exact same shade, but you don't mind. I know you don't mind. Why would you mind? Now, the thing that I noticed first of all is that the NARS one has a more beautiful texture to it. It has a better feel to it. But I would expect that because it's 4 times the amount of money, if not 5 times the amount. So I would expect it to have a better feel, to feel more luxurious, because that is what it is. Now, it does have about the same amount of coverage as the other one, but the NARS one has less radiance to it, I think is the word. So I'm going to use Honey underneath the eye, which is more of a corrector shade. And I'm going to use that right the way down, like we did on the other one. But this is just more of a corrector shade. It really doesn't matter, but why not? I'm just going to press this in. Do you know, I probably shouldn't have used Honey, because I think it's actually darker than the one I bloody used. The blind makeup artist is just the most incredible thing to be. You know, oh, that looks okay. Is it? Probably not, but it's all right. Doesn't matter, does it? So it's a bit brighter underneath the eye than the other side. But we're going to powder this now. And generally speaking, so I do believe that you get what you pay for with products most of the time. But this concealer is cracking. I mean, it gives you a really good amount of coverage. You get a really good, I'm trying to see if I've got a darker shade here. See if we can do perhaps a bit of, oh, that's too much. Just a bit of, do it on this side as well, why not? Just a bit of bronzing. But the texture of it, the amount of product you get, the price of it, you know what I mean? You're not going to be kicking off if you buy this and decide, you know what, I actually don't like it. You're going to be okay with it because it didn't cost the earth. And we've all been there with high-end products where it costs a fortune and it turns out to be, well, just a piece of shit, really. So what I'm going to do now is, because I didn't realise how much product I used, I've now realised that it's just too much. So I'm going to go back in with my original colour, which was the C7. And I'm actually just going to dot it everywhere and just blend that in because it's a little bit too much orange going on. I'm probably one of the few people, actually that's probably not the truth, there's probably tons of people out there, but I'm probably one of the few that really isn't a massive fan of bronzing up somebody's face unless they really ask for it. I quite like making your skin colour your skin colour. I kind of think that your skin colour is probably very beautiful as it is, probably doesn't need warming up, but I know a lot of people love that tan look, so I don't particularly care for it myself. I just like to see you looking like you've been outside picking strawberries, you know, on a spring day, rosy cheeked. I mean, it's just a good amount of coverage. So we're going to set this. So we're going to set it. Let me focus. We're going to set it with RCMA, no colour powder, obviously. I'm just going to get a load of it on a trusty old powder puff. This is as old as me. It's really old puff. And we're going to just set everything. But the truth is, this applies beautiful. Now, am I really going to be what's the word, swayed over all the other high-end ones? No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. But it's still really good for the money. You know, I knew instantly when I was applying it the very first time that it wasn't a high-end brand, but I knew that because that's what I paid for. But it didn't mean that I wasn't getting a good quality product, because I absolutely was. It didn't have the same feel to it as the higher-end ones, but it doesn't have to perform well, and this does perform really well. So what we're going to do is, there is something I'm going to mention here, and I'll try and zoom in because you never know how it's going to work. Right here, there's 2 dry patches, and some of the concealer has actually kind of come off. and it hasn't on this side, but it's like 5 or 6 quid. I think it's excellent. So we're just going to add a bit of colour to the face. I love blusher. I think it's the prettiest thing you can do for your skin. I'm going to use this one here by Bare Minerals called Pink Sky. It's such a pretty little colour. I'm just going to use this on one of my fan brushes. And I'm just going to kind of knock it off on the back of my hand. And then I'm just going to grace it. And I like to kind of go up in diagonals with blusher. I just think I just love it. I think blusher is the prettiest thing you can do to the skin to just bring it alive with deeper skin tones. Bright red, brick red, burnt oranges, terracotta oranges, really vivid orange can look absolutely beautiful on deeper skin tones. But NARS Exhibit A is brick red. It works on every single skin tone. You never have to worry about it not working, and you don't have to use it to that intensity either. You can just use a little bit, so don't be freaking out. And you can kind of see, I like to take blusher and just use it more, kind of like people would use, what's the word? You know how people would perhaps want to use a bronzer? I like it just swept gently into the hairline, and I just think it's the easiest thing to look pretty is to just apply a little smattering of blusher. And this one's beautiful by Bare Minerals because it's very sheer, but you could definitely build it up if you wanted to. Absolutely. And just to finish off with, look at all this mess, absolutely covered in it. And for shits and giggles, I think we'll just finish off with just a touch of highlighter just over those areas, just to give a little bit of gorgeousness really back to the face. And I'm using Hourglass Ambient Lighting because it's such a lovely product. But there you go. I mean, I did buy them all. I bought loads of them. They're all here in my little acrylic thing, but it is an incredible product. For the price, you are looking at a few quid, 5 quid, something like that. You really can't go wrong. It's a brilliant product. Does it compare to the high-end brands? No, but it doesn't need to because it's so well priced that you're still going to get a really, really good effect from it. I just think it's pretty good for the money. I think it's excellent for the money. So there you go. Links all down there in the description bar. I hope you all have a very, very lovely and safe day. Thank you for watching me. Bye-bye.